All right, this is Chaotic Crypto, where we defy tyranny. It is February 5th, 2024, and getting a little bit of a pullback continued. Really looking at the charts, I mean, I've been saying it for a while now. I think we're going to be getting some more of a pullback. The charts are pretty choppy right now. I think we're doing some kind of Wyckoff distribution before what likely will happen. I really think that we're probably going to chop here and then fall down to some kind of other line. And if we do fall down like that, expect also a wick. I mean, it could get kind of ugly. Like, I really look at the crypto fear and greed index we're not anywhere near. Oh, someone's calling me. We're not anywhere near real fear or anything like that. So we're at 60. Let's make sure that's right. Yeah, fear and greed is at 60, but we really need a bigger recharge to that. I mean, we may even get something real crazy scare down to like 20 or 30 fear and greed index, and that's what we need. We need one more final flush out. A lot of influencers, a lot of crypto people are calling for that, and that kind of makes me a little bit uneasy when everyone calls for something that rarely ever happens. But just traditionally speaking, we always get some kind of a flush out, and maybe it's a delayed one. Maybe we get a delayed flush out. Maybe we come up for another high up to 50K, kind of pre-halving pump, and then come down. But I would personally much prefer that we get some kind of, I guess a retest of our support. And usually what's happened the last few times anyway is we've had these pumps. We have a pump, right? It's happened a few times already this cycle in the last year. Okay, this is the exit of the bear market. We pop out of the descending triangle, right? Descending wedge. And come out, we almost go and retest the wedge. We retest the previous line of resistance here, and then up to the next one. We consolidate. We tested this resistance here, consolidated, had a little trouble breaking up above 30K, which is to be expected. And we bounced out of that, and we're up here now. And it's almost for sure that we are going to fall down and retest 30K, and that'll be like a really good chance to get some of your altcoins. And if you're not in cryptocurrency, if you're not in Bitcoin or Ethereum or at least just Bitcoin, that's like your chance to get in. It's like once we retest this 30K again, we'll never else see that again. Like we've been bouncing around 30K for like let's see, 30. I mean, it's been 2-3 years. I mean, 4 years really. We've been bouncing around these areas, so it's just very likely that we bounce out of this thing soon. Of course, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's like a lot of other people would be wrong too. Yeah, worst comes to worst, we just go worst. Best comes to best. We're gonna chop away sideways for a while, but this is not financial advice. It's just what I'm doing. But dollar cost averaging every week, whatever you can do, but also have like another nest egg in case we get that big fall. Something like what happened back in March of 2020. I mean, you get something like this happening, and this was like Black Swan event, the flu thing. But we broke out of this thing, and we only had one little retest of it again, and then we didn't have too many retests. We didn't have. It's very limited. I mean, I think ultimately we still would have had at the very least a pullback to this level. So let's just check a percentage value. This is what I'm predicting to happen probably in the next couple of months. It could happen in the next couple of weeks, really. It almost seems that's starting to happen now. Let's see. From top, take it down 33%, 33, 35%. Now, so far, this correction, all these corrections have been just 20%. It's been pretty mild. Like, I think we need a bigger scare. I mean, I don't mean to be sad, I don't mean to be negative or anything, but a correction of 35% would be. We need that. And honestly, I mean, I think if it goes even to 40 to 25K, I mean, I don't want to see that, but I could see a wick down at 25 to 28K, and then it pulls back up and maybe fights resistance at 30K one last time before popping up. if it's a mild correction where you're seeing 30 to 32K, I don't see why we would stop around the 35 to 36. There's not a whole lot going on in that range. So that's just my 2 cents about what I think is going to happen. Let's take a look at the RSI. Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be good. It'd be healthy to get another pullback. Maybe we might have one more shot to come up to like maybe 44K or 45 before the next week. But I think ultimately we're going to come back down. Check the daily chart. See if it tells us anything. Yeah, I mean, according to this falling wedge, we should go up for another charge back to like 47 to 48K, but I don't know if it's going to happen. And it's also what's called a BART pattern. That's what it's kind of forming. I mean, when you have all this chop, a lot of times if you keep on hitting resistance, it's just going to fall down real quick, and that'll create like a Bart Simpson kind of look. Daily RSI isn't telling me a whole lot, though we're finding support on the moving average right there. Pattern-wise, I'm not seeing much. Volume-wise, we're not having much volume. See what this ad says. Bitcoin to 45 or 30K. Analyst reveals key factor. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty accurate. Here's what happened in crypto today. Nah. Didn't want to load. Taproot Wizards recover from tech debut. I don't know what that's talking about. Retail sales. ICM. I don't know. ISM. Now, let's take a look at the 4-hour just for a little bit of. I just feel like it looks pretty weak. And part of that reason, going sideways, it looks kind of a weak thing, but also we're descending volume. People aren't buying. It's probably retail mainly not buying. And the big players are probably doing over-the-counter sales, over-the-counter OTC, under-the-table deals, basically. I'll give you 100 Bitcoin for this much, and they just give it to them. They don't do it for an exchange. So that's probably happening a lot, and just the declining volume isn't a great sign, honestly. And most of our volume has been sell volume on this chart. So usually when there's more sell volume, you'll start a new trend more into the sell, right? We had a lot of buy volume here, and we were being bought up, and it was all great and gravy for a while, but now I think that's over with. And this is going to lead us to having some great buying opportunities. All right, this is a H bar real quick on the 4-hourly. And looking, I mean, honestly, I think it looks like a really good place to try to start buying some. You might get some lower prices at 60 cents, possibly if 55.05 cents, maybe. I don't know. It looks more like a falling wedge, which at some point it's gonna resolve. But yeah, it keeps on beating up against this resistance. H bar looks like it's probably prep. I mean, it's probably some of the last chances you're going to get these good prices. But we also, what happens often, these cryptos will follow Bitcoin no matter what. So if Bitcoin falls, we'll fall down, and then we'll probably fake out and come back out. And that also happens opposite of what. Sometimes we'll have a fake in or fake out to the positive and then fall back lower. So yeah, on the larger scale though, this is a great area to accumulate. This is a giant W pattern as well. W's usually form bottoms. So just a big W and then off to the races. And unfortunately, the rest of this chart, it's a newer chart, so they don't have much data to go back on. But I'm just going to do a quick rudimentary price scale here. Be your target. Short-term target, 26 cents. That's probably the end of your target, I would guess. Something like that. See if it plays out. We'll keep it up. ADA. Yeah, kind of the same story for ADA. Algorand. Same story. Damn, it went up to 25 cents. Damn, I didn't realize it went up that high. It's previous support. We might get again. We might get a little bit more of a buy the dip scenario for sure. For sure. Adam, I've already calculated that. Let's see what else we got here. I'm trying to think about what else, other kind of news we have. Near protocol. I mean, these things are looking so juicy again. And I'm waiting for my Celsius distribution. Whoever's watching this is involved in Celsius, and I'm sorry. I keep on hearing, like I'm watching Simon Dixon and Aaron Bennett are really good YouTubers, influencers to watch and try to get information. But apparently there's like billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars that are not accounted for, and the whole like distribution process is just so disgusting. But it might amount to like a 10% discrepancy. So they were saying we only get 26%, maybe we get 36% of our claim. I don't know in crypto, but it's hard to say. It's just so disgusting. Just like how much money they burn through this whole process, and like I can't believe that the bankruptcy courts operate as they do, and that we got trapped like that under a government or U.S. government regulated system that was supposed to watch these players. They didn't watch Voyager or Celsius. Gary Gensler, they just need to get rid of these people and reform the system. Or really, I think we're just basically seeing the problem with traditional systems, and they're not going to work. They're not going to take humanity further. Decentralized finance, decentralized just governance in general, I think is the future. And like, it's just going to be a painful transition to get to that point because people want security from their banks. And I think that's kind of the end. Like there's going to be a new system to replace the banks. So the banks are going to integrate their system within this. And there's always going to be a need for people to call about how to operate things and how they work. Like banks are mainly customer service anyway. And like, I think that there'll be a new customer service branch within crypto and DeFi, and that'll continue. So I think just banks are going to change. I mean, hell, some of these are probably going to be banks. I mean, apparently supposedly Coinbase is applied to be some kind of bank custodian or something. I heard about that. So the cryptos themselves and the ecosystems themselves may be the actual banks that, they'll just take the place of that whole system to some kind of a degree. That's speculating. Let's see what else we got here. Silica. XRP, like, I'm really wondering if this thing is going I feel like it's at the end of it's getting close to its end of its trajectory. I think XRP might start ripping here pretty soon. It was the first one to really move because it got out of that legal battle with the SEC, and it's really kind of what started the bull market partially. So I think XRP might start moving here pretty soon, but it will be kind of hard to take back that 70, 80 cent area. And we're down at 50 cents. But I think XRP might start making some moves. The RSI is down at the bottom. Take a look at the weekly. I mean, RSI seems there's plenty of room to move up to the upside on all fronts there. I'd say XRP would be definitely one to watch in the near term. Near protocol really retraced pretty hard. Yeah, 46%. Let's see the Bitcoin mining stocks. They're retesting support. Mara, Hive, Riot. Those are some of your bigger Bitcoin mining stocks that are U.S. based. I believe they're all U.S. based. And Celsius, what came out of Celsius was a new company called Ionic, and they're going to be supposedly the second or third largest mining farm in the U.S. So there is buzz about Bitcoin mining regulation. I'm kind of wondering like what's going to cause this next dip that we're going to have that a lot of people are calling for. And I could see like some kind of maybe U.S. legislation, maybe even like it could be something pretty bad. Like say the U.S. proposes or actually does something where they like make it illegal for small retailers to mine Bitcoin or something. They put on regulations like or slap some crazy taxes on it to where it's just not even worth it. I can almost see it's something like that. Like what caused the last big crash, of course, with the flu thing. But before that was China. China banning Bitcoin mining was here, and that caused. I would compare a news event like that would be something that we probably see. So 48%. I mean, that would be really rough. I mean, it would be very rough. I mean, that'd take us down to 22. You got to be ready for these kind of things. Like, take us down to 22K, 23K. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's just like that's the kind of thing that if we get another flu thing, if we get another black swan, you have to be ready for a 50% drop. You know, you really do. You really have to be ready for that. I mean, honestly, the whole thing, this whole drop was 65. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but I mean, a 50% drop is certainly in the cards. It really is. And I'm going to compare it to this right here. With the length of time that we've been in this consolidation, I'm trying to think of something to compare it to. It's probably something like compared to this, right? So maybe the next few months are more choppy. Yeah, I feel like it reminds me of something more like this. So, all right, let's see. What was the retracement from this point on? Yeah, that was about 50%. So expect a 50% drop from our top. And actually, it might not be quite as bad. Let's see. 50%. And it takes us down to 25K. And we have to be ready for that. I can't stress that enough. If you're in like positions, this is not financial advice, but if you're in like open positions, trading positions, like those will get liquidated if you're a 2x. You'll definitely get liquidated 3 or 4x and 5x. 1x you might be okay. 2x if you're like actually managing it, you might be okay. But a lot of times these wicks will come down so far. Like the books are open, so like if there's a big enough trader, they can see how many people they can get. They'll try to liquidate the most amount of traders. I'm actually scaring myself right now, so I'm probably going to start exiting my trades. I have some that are open that are very low leverage. Just disclosing right there. But I keep on reiterating that we're at support for a lot of these altcoins. And it does look great. This is a great accumulation zone. But if they don't hold in this next little dip, or if we get a 10%, 20% dip from here, they'll probably hold. But if we get like that crazy thing, they won't. And we'll get a lower low on these things. Or at least a retest. So, be that as it may. What's ICP doing? Consolidating. Looking for any other clues. Okay. Trillions of dollars potentially flow into the XRP market. I think, XRP seems like they're doing something. Ethereum whales. Bitcoin hits 1 million this cycle. Binance adds Pith with the seed tag. Pith is basically the link for Solana. I think Pith might be it's a good hold for sure. Ripple's CTO discusses plans for diversification. Let's see, scores victory in Ripple lawsuit. What? Doge is a breakout on the way. I don't know. Trial. I wouldn't expect any kind of crazy altcoin pump until after the halving. Once Bitcoin makes this next run, it'll be like the second leg up to probably all-time highs, close to it over the next year. And after that is when the altcoins run. And then Bitcoin may make one more final run. But, altcoins aren't going to run until really Bitcoin and Ethereum have had their day. And Ethereum is still, not doing much. Ethereum is what you should really be watching for. Let's see if you can find it. 2228. I mean, when I look at this chart, we're just hovering on support, and for me, I have a hard time imagining that we're going to fall below it, but it very well could happen. If we do, back down to 1700 or something like that. Again, I could be wrong. We might consolidate and push up before we get some kind of crazy pullback. But, I don't know. The ETFs may bring a level of stability to Bitcoin that we have not seen in 15 years for Bitcoin. I've been in since 2017. Bitcoin's been very volatile, but the ETFs, maybe the ETFs cause a certain level of, indecision or stability. So, okay. Well, I feel special looking at this. So my speculations have come true. We have hit, or we're about to hit, this previous line of support, or line of resistance with the U.S. dollar, and it's probably going to stop at this area. We're probably going to jump around here over the next couple months, and then fall down, because once the government starts decreasing these interest rates, people are going to have more money with their credit cards. People are going to start buying more. That'll create inflation, which will help Bitcoin. Once the interest rate issue is solved, the problem is there's so much debt, and it can't be served under this amount of interest rates. So that's interesting, though. It's interesting. So, yeah, I think the next year or two should be pretty bullish. There's going to be a lot more money floating around in the system. And if the economy is as healthy as they say, which I don't think it is, but if people are working and making money and getting raises, then there should be a fair amount of money coming into the crypto and risk tech. There was huge news about Apple and their Meta. I don't know what it was. I forget what it's called. It's one of those, I guess there's some kind of goggle or whatever, Meta goggle thing. But it's basically just shows you that AI and metaverse are going to be big plays. Meta AI, decentralized rendering from Render. Let's take a look at Render. Do I have Render in here? I may not have Render on here. But decentralized graphics rendering, hashing, which, basically Bitcoin and altcoins are founded on that whole principle anyway. But there's going to be so much huge need for rendering all these environments. Everyone's using these headsets, and how is it operating? I'm sure the headset can do a fair amount of computing power and all that, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how it all works, but let's look at Render. Let's see. Render. So Render's down, 9.8%. Looking juicier. The problem with Render is it's been so it's not looking that juicy. It's been just running so hard on the whole decentralized graphic rendering protocols that you actually just see what it. So we'll read it. Leading provider of decentralized GPU-based rendering solutions. Basically, what I was saying. Revolution in the digital creation process. The network connects node operators looking to monetize their idle GPU compute power. So it's kind of like if you're a miner, I mine crypto on the side, and I'm using my GPU power I'm not using to support these networks. So with artists looking to scale intensive 3D rendering artwork, if you saw those goggles, the environments they're rendering are just completely insane. Through a decentralized peer-to-peer network, the render network achieves unprecedented levels of scale, speed, and economic efficiency. I'm glad that I'm a holder in this, but I want to find other coins that do this. Or maybe we can render markets. Sometimes the related coins. Okay. BitTensor. The Cash. Fetch AI for sure. Singularity Net for sure. I believe Singularity Net is off of Cardano. Syntropy, I'm not sure what that is. But I would say any of these that are related to Render for sure. I'm pretty actively stacking Fetch and Singularity. Let's look at Akash. I kind of want to get on this, but I don't know what the... See, it's already kind of started making its... I'd like to see this thing maybe retest down to $1.87. Akash Networks spearheading a paradigm shift in cloud computing, disrupting conventional cloud services, and pioneering a revolution in access to essential cloud resources. So it's similar to Render, probably more of a focus on data, maybe leveraging the power of blockchain technology. Build an open source decentralized marketplace for cloud computing, offering an unprecedented level of speed, efficiency, and affordability. Also, I saw an incredible interview with the HBAR founder, a creator. Do not sleep on Hedera Hashgraph. That thing is gonna move, and like I could tell from that team, they're just very passionate. They seem very together, very just stoked and energetic. Like I'm like, yes. Again, like Hedera. I mean, this thing is just in such a juicy spot. I mean, this is basically, to me, this is the Cardano of last cycle. You can get this thing at 3 or 4 cents, and it'll probably get a $3 or $4, and like at least $1. I really, unless it doesn't get adopted, but I think this thing can really move. So we'll have to see. But I'm kind of running on fumes. Yeah, it's been a long day. My Mondays tend to be pretty crazy. I think I'm done. But thanks for stopping by. Feel free to leave a comment, smash the likes, hit subscribe, and try to check in tomorrow. Just be ready for anything. It's going to be an exciting year, and we'll have to see what happens. Just follow the narratives, the AI, meta, the current narrative. I think those will do pretty well. So, all right, hang in there. Peace.